All right, good evening, everyone. Tonight we are going to dive in. This is the last session for the year in terms of the deep dive sessions. And then we've got some other events coming up the next few weeks, but December 12th is our last event. And then the last 2 weeks of December, you guys have fun. Don't come here, we won't see you. And we're going to use that to plan out the new year. And then come January, we got some exciting new things that we're going to be doing in January. So get ready for the new year. And we're going to start the deep dive training sessions. We're going to do a few different things. And so we're going to do maybe a little bit different from how we've done it in the last year. We're going to try to do more specific things. For example, for these sessions here, one evening we might do a class on getting registered in SAM. And for all of you that haven't registered in SAM, or if you want to see if your profile is done correctly, we're going to do that. And we're going to review your profiles. If you've done SAM already, if you haven't done SAM, then we're going to help you take it step by step. We might do a session on how to get certified as a women-owned, and then we're going to take you step by step on how to get certified as a women-owned. So we're trying to do things a little bit different, and then every now and then I will probably do like a variation of the deep dive sessions, but we're trying to do things a little bit different next year. That's based on the feedback that you guys gave. We did a survey about 3 weeks ago. Who did the survey? Anybody? One person. Oh, thanks for the feedback. So if you don't like the format we're changing to, you should have done the survey, right? You can't complain now. But what, really at any time, if you're not happy about anything, don't see me, see Pam. She'll make sure it's done right. But if you're not happy about anything, let us know, really. We want to make sure that you're getting value as a member of the association. And so we will always want to over-deliver, over-promise, under-promise, over-deliver. And we'll make sure that you're happy with your membership here at GCA. So we definitely want to do that for next year. If you want to see anything new, even though the survey has passed, let us know still. Just shoot us an email or see Pam or see myself. We'll be more happy to take your comments to see what we can do to continuously improve. And if you want us to see something new that we haven't done, let us know also. We can do those things there. We want, we can't do everything you ask, but we're going to do our very best to accommodate and to incorporate what your needs are to support all of the members in the association. So, all right. So let's, before we dive in, one last thing. Who's doing the most exotic thing during Thanksgiving? Anybody going to Hawaii? Anybody, cooking 10 turkeys? Or anybody doing anything exciting for the holidays? Because I want to invite myself over. Because I want to know. Because I want to invite myself over. Anybody? Who's a great cook here? Okay, all right, a few of you. So, yeah. So, what's your specialty? What's your specialty? What do you do? Anything healthy. All right. So nothing greasy. No ham. No, none of that stuff. Unfortunately, not. Yeah, okay, well, that's awesome. So my wife and I were actually, usually during Thanksgiving, we have like a big feast at my parents' house up in Decula. But this year, we're all going to go to Destin, Florida. So my parents have 8 kids. Y'all saw my brother earlier, right? He looks like my twin. And so he's here from Chicago, and then we've got family. All 8 kids, plus about almost 30 grandkids, plus about 7 or 8 great-grandkids. We're all going to go down to Florida and try to catch a little bit of sun. Hopefully the weather gets warmer, but that's what we're going to do. So everybody's getting their own way down there. Yeah.
Where are you staying is the next question.
Yeah, we actually got a condo that will fit about 30 people, and then those that don't fit in there will stay in a few surrounding, resorts, plays or something. We'll just combine together. I didn't try to coordinate it. We didn't have a Pam in the family, so We should have utilized your event planning services. Next year, okay. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. So you guys can see here, I'm going to cover this here first, but this will go by very fast. And then Deani asked me to cover how to build your Dream 100. That's part of your marketing plan. And we'll cover that a little bit. And then anything else afterwards, if we still have time, feel free to ask questions and I'll cover that as well. All of our deep dive trainings, we usually train from our Gov Fast Track software. And so I'm going to go in here and go to compliance and closures and so forth. So let's start out with invoicing and payments and payrolls and so forth. If you have more than 2 employees, including yourself, state regulation says that you must have workers' comp, right? And with that, you need to have a payroll service so that it can make life simple for you. Payroll services is such a low cost. It's like $25, $30 a month. It's not worth your time trying to do that on your own. Let a professional do that. If you need a professional, we actually use one of these companies here ourselves here. Let me move over. So any of these companies are great. Insperity, IOI Pay, Paychecks, ADP. ADP actually specialize, they have a great government contracting arm. What we use here is we use IOI Pay. We've been very happy with the services. They also have a online portal to where you can go and do a lot of your HR. They have a HR database of all the different types of documentation that you would need there. And so if you're firing somebody, they have all the state forms so that you can go and make sure that you're firing them and make sure that they sign up for all the proper forms. If you're hiring someone, they've got documentation there. All the medical stuff, they get all of that there on the portal. And most of these here have some type of online template documentations to help you with your HR. Until you become a large organization where you need an HR service, then you may not necessarily need to have an HR internal person working for you. That's reserved for, once you get to about maybe 10 employees, you may want to start looking for HR consultants to help you during the transition. If you get to about 15 employees, you might want to bring on an HR person full-time or part-time to work with you.
So when you say that all of those companies have a portion of the government contracting, are you referring to those forms, or are you referring to something specific?
Yeah, when it comes to government contracting, they have to understand how government contract works. So, for example, fringe benefits or Service Contract Act. So anything that is a SCA, Service Contract Act, means that when you are paying your employee, you must have health benefits and savings or some type of long-term retirement options for them. And so Service Contract Act requires that if you work those type of contracts, you must have some type of benefits package. Now, they don't mandate you what type of level. They just say that you should have a package and with some type of care and some type of support. So if you don't have one, then you must pay them on top of their salary about $4.27 on top of. So when you're bidding on a contract, assuming that you're paying your employees $12 an hour, and you're bidding on a contract, and the requirement says that it's a Service Contract Act, and you don't know that. You don't know what SCA or Service Contract Act means, and so you're saying, well, I'm gonna pay them $12, so I'm gonna mark it up to $17 an hour, and you're gonna make about $5 difference for every, that's gonna cover your overhead and your profit and all that stuff. Well, with service contract, you're gonna pay them $4.27. So you're only going to make about 71 cents profit, which is really not profit. That's not enough for you to cover your time, your overhead, your management, your operation. And so keep in mind when you're, so payroll services, they help you to understand those things there. And they make sure that you're in compliance with those. In fact, some of the payroll service company, they're in compliance with Service Contract Act, and they have benefits packages part of their service so that you don't necessarily have to worry about it, and they can just take care of all of that.
And you can't get anything, so doing 1099, you can't get an option in that situation.
In some situations, yes, but like if you are using them as a subcontractor, that's fine. But on some government projects, like if you're hiring someone to be like for example, security guards. This one of the companies we had, she didn't understand Service Contract Act, and she wanted a security guard contract. And she barely is surviving on the project because she priced it without considering Service Contract Act. And so in that type of situation,
And she could not get around by just telling everyone you were in.
because the government requires that they are employees on facilities. So in those situations, it's mandated by the government. They must be employees of the company working on government facilities, and they're not going to allow subcontractors or 1099 in that situation.
Read your contract. Read your documents when you bid.
So, hey,
Yes,
so if I awarded a contract when I hire another company to build a contract, so I need to take into consideration the other employees I'm going to pay per hour plus the 420 if they're not.
if you have a benefits package, you can use that off. You pay for that, so you don't have to pay them extra. But if you don't have a benefits package, health plan and some type of long-term plan for them, then you do need to pay them the $427. And anytime you see Service Contract Act, and they will tell you what type, on the project itself, they will tell you the industry, and so I do know that some facilities contract requires that there's Service Contract Act. Some of them require that, I do know that security guards is under SCA. There are a few things that some projects, also keep in mind that some projects are union workers. So if they say union workers, that means you have to keep that in mind. You have to pay union rates. So one of the companies we're working with, she's going after a janitorial contract, I think up in South Carolina somewhere. And on that project, it's union workers.
Even though it's a non-union state.
But apparently that agency negotiated with the union to have union rates for that project there. And so when every 5 years for that project, every 5 years when a new company comes in to take over the employees, they have to take over the employees and they have to pay union rates. If you are taking over a project that have existing employees, do you keep them or do you fire them? What's the right thing to do?
Well,
Keep them, right? It saves you time. Now, the law requires that you have to do everything you can to try to hire those people first. You can't just go and lay everybody off. That's against the regulations. But it makes it easier for you because if there's already employees doing work already, they already know everything there, and you're the new contractor that comes in place, but the employees are existing employees, you just replace the supervisor, and that's really all you replace. Now, some of them have been there for 15 years, so you have to negotiate with them to reduce their rates, right? And they may not stay, and in that situation, if you reduce their rates and they're not willing to stay, then you may lose a valuable person. And if you want to keep them, you may have to be willing to keep them at the current rate that they're on. So anytime you're going into a new project and they have existing employees, you want to ask the contracting officer, can I have the registry of all the payroll of all the employees that's existing there? And most of the time they're going to give that to you. You can also ask the incumbent, who the incumbent is, the company that is currently holding the contract. And you can, while you're doing a site visit, talk to a few of the employees while you're there. It's like, hey, how's it going for you guys here? You guys, ask them. Don't come across like you're too nosy, but just have conversation. They're gonna, you ask them a few questions like, so how long you've been here, and just kind of let them talk a little bit. And they're gonna tell you little things that's gonna be valuable information as you're bidding on that project. Most of the time, if the contracting officer is putting out for rebid, usually they're not happy with the incumbent. Because if they're happy with the incumbent, they'll find a way to keep the incumbent. Make sense? All right, so that's, any of these folks here will be fine. IOIPay.com, paychecks.com, any of these folks will be good. Next item is, once you finish, as you're delivering the work, then you need to register in WAWF or Wide Area Workflow. This is the main site for all DoD contracts. Department of Defense, most of DoD contract requires that you register in Wide Area Workflow. Now, you cannot just go and register in Wide Area Workflow until you win a contract. So once you win a contract, the contracting officer will tell you that this is where you need to go register and set up your profile so that you can get paid. And you're going to use this here as the invoicing platform. And the contracting officer, they're going to sign off on the work that you did. They're going to give you forms so that you can go into this system and complete your profile in here, and then also use this here so that you can get paid.
That's for the military?
Almost all military agency uses Wide Area Workflow, and some non-DoD agency also uses this here, but this is mainly for DoD, which is about 60% of all federal contracting. So the bulk of agencies is going to use this platform. This platform here is very, you're going to learn to navigate it a little bit at the very beginning because there's some little detail and intricate things that you want to learn in here. But the first thing you want to do is when you're here, you want to hit register and just follow the instructions here. And then, register, you're going to be a vendor. You're not a government. You're not a support contractor. You're going to be a vendor. And then most of the time, you're going to be in the IRAPT platforms. This is invoicing, receipt, acceptance, property transfer. In fact, they're changing the Wide Area Workflow to IRAPT. So you're going to be in this platform. You're going to check that, and then you're going to hit next. And then you fill out your information, and you keep on following through the whole process here. So very similar, just like almost any other database that you register your profile. Now, at the very beginning, they have a very detailed help support here. So they've got web-based training, and these training are so awesome that I decided not to replicate the training because they've done a great job of creating the process flow of what you need to do to register on here. So instead of recreating this here, I just decided that use these tools here. It's already here, so use the web-based training to help you. and let this here be your tool to guide you through the process here. So you're going to use IRAP here. And they've got awesome training over here. And so as a vendor, you just kind of go over here. You can do the overview and learn how the system works. But there's a lot of technical stuff in here. So I just want to kind of give you a quick overview today so you get a chance to see what this looks like. Any questions about wide area workflow or invoicing? Once the work is done, they're going to give you a form, a sign-off form, so that you can, there's going to be information on here that only the contracting officer is going to provide for you. You're not going to be able to have some of those information. So you're going to need that to finish up this portion. Now there is this new platform called IPP. I haven't used it yet. Invoice Processing Platform. This is a newer project, newer system, and I looked at it quickly to kind of see what it looks like. So let's, and I'll show you the site in a second. So this looks like it's a third-party integration platform that the government is using to support the work that they're doing. But let's go look at it and see what it looks like. Okay, so OMB. So who knows what OMB stands for?
Other in minority business.
Okay, good question, good answer, but not in this situation. Anybody else? What did you say?
Office of Management and Budget.
Yep. Office of Management and Budget. So they are requiring that vendors start using this platform for non-DOD and a few other. USDA uses this? Okay, awesome. So that's good. So you actually, are you on this system? Okay, perfect. So different agencies will use this here. Let's see which one is using here. Agencies. Yep, U.S. Department of Agriculture, Architect of the Capitol, Administrative Resource Center. So not quite everybody using this here yet. Well, yeah. So lots of agencies. IRS uses this here. National Park Services. Okay, so yeah, so this is going to become a more important platform as we move forward because everybody's switching to this here. Schedule a consultation. So if you need help, they actually have people that can help you with this process, so it's actually good. And they open early, 8 a.m., so that's good. And they open till 6 p.m. So purchase order is done through here. Invoicing is done through here. All right. So Deanna, how has your experience been on this platform? It's fairly easy to use.
It's been very easy.
Yeah.
I just upload the invoice, and you want to see inside of the.
Yeah. Let me just take a quick look at it.
So I go in as a collector, and once I go in, I upload the invoice, and then once if it goes into a draft where I have to submit it, I can still go back and review it. Then pending submission, once I submit, it'll say pending. Then they'll send me approval, and then once it's approved, it'll even tell me when I'm getting paid or.
When payment's going to come through.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that like a net 30? No.
It's a net 30, but we're scheduled to get paid anywhere from 10 to 15 days.
Yeah.
For federal.
At the federal level, every single project is net 30. And then if you are a small business, there was an executive order when President Obama was in office saying that all small business must be paid 15 days or less. And it's a goal, it's not a regulation. And so most agencies are complying by that, and so they're paying small businesses as quick as 7 days, and within 2 weeks or so. So they've been pretty good about it.
They have.
Yeah. Questions?
Yeah. And the final was officer management.
Office and management and budget.
Thank you.
Yep. That's good. I like those questions because that's part of learning governese, right? You're going to see a lot of acronyms, and you're going to start to learn and pick up some of these here, and sometimes you're going to have to hear it a few times, but then it's going to start to, you're going to start to speak it. DCA we covered briefly last week, and for those of you that weren't here, DCA stands for Defense Contract Audit Agency, and it is when you start winning contracts that are typically over $1 million, the government starts to pay closer attention. Again, most of this here is tied to DoD contracts. Defense, naturally, it goes back to DoD type of projects, but other agencies are leaning to some of these standards here, and they're actually, using DCAA standards, and they can also ask them to make sure that you're in compliance. But generally, just DoD contracts. What you want to do is when you win a DoD contract that's close to $1 million or over $1 million, you want to meet with a CPA who understands DCAA. And what you want to do is have them come in. If you have QuickBooks, they're going to do a pre-audit. Because do you want to wait until the audit? No, because when they come to do an audit, it's too late, right? And then they're going to make sure that you jump through all these different hoops so that you can get paid and so that you can keep the contract. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and get with a CPA, do a pre-audit, make sure that you can, if they do a pre-audit, they're going to do it as if it's a real audit. And they're going to say, okay, these are the things that you need to do to make sure you meet compliance. And if you meet compliance, then should you be audited in the future, then you can, you'll be able to pass and you can get paid and keep on moving. Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that if you have a QuickBooks and this would be easy that they do the pre-audit. Is any other platform that would be easy to get the pre-audit?
The accounting software that that will automatically pass DCAA is called Deltek.
How do you spell?
Deltek.
Thank you.
Deltek is a software that is designed specifically for the government market. And they are very expensive. Probably a minimum of $20,000 to start. So unlike QuickBooks, you can go buy for $200 and then just pay another $200-300 for a CPA to come and set it up. When you grow, you're going to need to use Deltek. It's going to be worth it as you get bigger as a company. As a small business, QuickBooks, and then having a DCA compliant CPA who understands that to come and help you implement it, that's good enough. And it's good enough until you can grow to the next level. So Deltek is the #1 software for government contracting accounting. They are a $1 billion corporation, so they're pretty big. Should you get audited, you're gonna need to have a letter like this here. So you're going to have someone that's going to come and say, hey, they're going to come and then they're going to review, and if you don't meet it or do meet it, they're going to give you a determination letter like this here. So in accordance with FAR 42, accounting systems with DFARS, contracting accounting systems, and related control, I have determined your accounting system is acceptable and approved. And if it's not approved, then they're going to ask you to do the things that you need to do to be approved. And if you don't do it in a timely manner, then you may potentially put your contract at risk. They're not going to try to just throw you out. That's not the goal, right? The goal is to make sure that your accounting meets certain standards. So you have to meet GAAP standards, which is normal for every business, and you also have to meet DCAA standards. Now, why do you think they do that? Because they've been burned many times, right? The government have paid $1,000 per hammer. They paid $100 for each nail. So they don't want to pay $100 for a nail. They don't want to pay $1,000 for a hammer. They want to pay 12 bucks for a hammer and 2 cents for a nail, just like everybody else. And when your system is in compliance, it's hard for you to hide different, things like that there. So they want to make sure that you're not going to cheat this, overcharge them and hide certain categories and different things like that. A few things. Who has more than 10 employees? Anybody? Okay. How many do you have?
Depends on the job, but on the average of 15.
Okay. So in the state of Georgia, you are at the threshold of e-verification. You have to meet e-verification and make sure that you process all new employees through that, which I assume you already do that. And then for federal contracts, it's 50 employees. You have to meet e-verification standards. For 50 employees, you also must have an affirmative action plan. An affirmative action plan is governed by OFCCP. OFCCP, if you're a small business, you never have to worry about them. But when you get to about 50 is kind of like the threshold, right? 50 makes your life harder. But that's a good problem, right? When you grow your business and you get to 51, 60, that's a good problem to have. So that means you're making money. So you can afford to have more control in places and more compliance measures and having a compliance officer in your company working full time to help you to grow. But affirmative action plan just means that you are hiring a percentage of people who are veterans. A percentage of your employees are those that have some type of disability, and that you are hiring minorities and women and so forth. So that's what affirmative action plans are. Davis-Bacon Act, that has to do with construction-related projects. Who's in construction? Anybody? Okay, just you? Okay, so you already know about Davis-Bacon, so. But Davis-Bacon, they want to make sure that you're paying the Davis-Bacon wages for a certain skill set. Now, you can pay more, but you cannot pay less.
And also make sure that the people receive their money.
Yes, they got to get paid, and they got to make sure that they meet certain standards. TAA is Trade Agreement Act. Who sells products? Anybody sell products? Okay, if you sell product, you need to know about TAA. If you're selling any type of product to the federal government, it must be manufactured or final assembly from one of these countries here. If it's not final assembly from one of these countries, then chances are you're not going to be able to sell it to the federal government. Now, for those of you who do mainly services, you also install products. So if you install any type of products through the government, you want to make sure that the products are final manufactured from one of these countries here. And if you come in here, you can kind of go see the list. And who's not on here? China's not on here, right? There are major manufacturing of products around the world, and they're not on the list here. So if you're selling LED lighting that's manufactured in China, you're not going to be able to sell it to the federal government. If many different things are manufactured in China, solar panels and security systems and lots of different things are manufactured in China. And nothing wrong with products from China. You know, they make it where it's affordable, but because they're not part of the Trade Agreement Act, and that means that they have to hold to a certain standard of manufacturing and certain standard of how they assemble the products, they're not going to be approved.
So as long as it's final assembly, meaning sneakers, for example, they're made in China, sweatshops, and then when they come here, they assemble. You get the Georgia label.
If they're just slapping a label, that's not called assembly. I think the threshold is like 51% of all components are assembled in the U.S. or somewhere in one of these countries, then it can meet that standard.
I don't know, because I did a project in America as well. Like a client here, they bought the ones, two of the ones, and all they did was just to separate them. Two of those, most of it was done outside of just
Depends. I mean, they're not going to check everything. Yeah. They're not. Yeah, they're not going to check everything, and some electronic parts, it can be from different countries that's not on here. But most standard stuff, especially uniforms and clothing, it has to be, if they have a buy U.S. only. And so it must be, you know, final assemble in the U.S. for clothing and uniforms and certain things like that. Cybersecurity, I covered that last week. My point there is that you want to make sure that you have a cyber plan going into 2018. Even though you're a small business, if you're going after certain contracts, there are some basic things like having your e-verification in place, having your cybersecurity plan, having an employee handbook, a safety program, most of these different things, even though you're a small business, you're not thinking about those things, but go ahead and put those things in place. The software that we have templates already, so if you buy the software, we have the templates already. The software is available for $149 a month. So, if you get it for a month and you can't afford it anymore, you can cancel. I'm not going to cry about it. So if that's all you can do, that's one way to do it. You can do it the monthly plan. Closeout. Closeout, the last thing I'm going to say about contract closeout is this here. Closeout on your end is very easy. On the contracting officer's perspective, is very complex. They have to go back and go from the very beginning, from the point of putting out the project out from solicitation, and they have to assemble all of that and put into one final package and make sure that you're paid, make sure that you signed off on everything. They've got 2 or 3 other people, the COTAR, the supervisor, the contracting officers, representative, all these different people here, they all have to sign off on the documentation. So make sure that their job is easy. On your end, don't give them a hard time. You want to be their friend when it comes to closeout. If they're asking for documentation, respond very quickly, make it easy for them. They're going to appreciate you, and they're going to look to award you more contracts in the future. If you make it hard for them, because it's a lot of work for them on their end. On your end, it's like, hey, I did the work. sign up for my invoice, I can get paid. That's easy like that for you, but for them it's hard. Any questions about closeouts? I think I've covered everything here. All right, so for this last portion, I'm going to cover how to build your Dream 100. And your Dream 100, I learned this technique from, oh, what's the guy's name? I can't remember his name anymore. But he taught this technique, and you know, I'm always a student, right? Like all of you, you're a student. You're here because you're a student. I'm always a student also. I don't know what I know because I'm not a student. I'm a student so that I can know what I know. And so I'm always learning and learning new strategies, new ideas so that I can share with you. Often I practice these things here already so that I can implement it with you as well. But, oh, actually his name is Chet Holmes. Chet, C-H-E-T, H-O-L-M-E-S. He's since passed away, but his daughter is continuing. He's got other people continuing in his footsteps in terms of his methodologies and his business principles. But the one thing that he teaches is he teaches the art to follow up. His one technique is this here. He says every time he starts a new business or when he's consulting with a business, the first thing he does with them is create the ideal 100 companies that you want to be your customers. That way you're not just scrambling, right? So if you have a strategy to create your Dream 100 of who is your ideal clients, then you're not chasing around. So your ideal client, he starts off, he said, don't think small. If your ideal client is Coca-Cola, put them as #1. Don't put them number 99. Make them #1 and target them. And so, and then he goes on to say that part of his technique is you call directly to a decision maker. Don't start at the low level. Call and talk to the decision maker. And so, and then the way he would do is he would choose a day out of the week, and he would call that person every single week for 1 year. Now, who here has called someone for a year? Now, for guys, we may have pursue an interest, right? And we may have pursue an interest for over a year. And she have told us, yeah, that's called stalking, right? And she may have told us no 10 times, 20 times over a year, but we didn't stalk her, we patiently waited until she came around, and now some of you are married to that person, right? So, and actually, you know, ladies actually appreciate guys that do it in a chivalrously way that way. Instead of trying to stalk them and scare them, you're just patient and you just trust and you believe in a higher power. You believe that Cupid is going to bring you together, right? Or you believe that God's going to bring you together, that it's going to be true love. And now for a few of the guys, you know what? Hey, just move on. She said no, just move on, right? You really know when a woman says no, and sometimes when a woman no, it just means not now. So, but you have to be able to read between the difference between the line, right?
So the relationship advice is always.
Yeah, it's free tonight. It's free tonight. So Chet Holmes says he would call. He gave an example of he would call all these different CEO. And he called this one CEO of this Fortune 500 company Wednesday every single morning, like at 11 o'clock. And the CEO would never answer the phone. The secretary would always answer the phone. And he would say, yes, please, I want to leave a message. I want to talk to him about us partnering together. And this is who I am. This is our company. And please have him give me a call back. And every Wednesday he would call the CEO and he would leave a voice message or a text message with the secretary, and the CEO would never call him back. His his strategy is just 1 year. Don't go beyond 1 year. So at the end of 1 year, he stopped calling. Guess what the CEO did?
Call him.
Yes. Yeah, so the CEO said, hey, he's talking to the secretary. Remember that crazy guy named Chet? I didn't get a phone call this Wednesday. What happened? Is he okay? Give him a call. Find out what he really wants. And so she called and said, hey, your CEO wants to talk to you. And the CEO gets, I mean, there is some value about persistency, right?
Amen.
There's value to that. Now, you as a small business, I taught that same principle to a small business. And so we found a large prime that we want to market to. And he does demolition. And so we found a company, CHM2 Hill. And so he started calling the subcontracting manager or the SBLO and starts calling the person. Over 6 months, the guy would not, he talked to him once, but wouldn't really say, yeah, I'm going to use you, but would never use him. Over 6 months passed by, but he consistently called a few times every single month. And finally, the guy awarded him a $1.2 million contract after 6 months. And so I said, ask him why he finally awarded you a contract. And he asked the guy, and the guy said, you keep on harassing me. But in a good way. He said, you keep on harassing me, you keep on saying that you're a great company, and I'll check my voice message and it's you again. And I said, oh. And so I just feel like if you are saying that you are that good, I want to give you at least one chance. And he got that one chance, and he's been doing other work for them. So 6 months, is it worth it for a $1.2 million contract? Absolutely, right? Just a few phone calls every few months consistently. So that's what Chet teaches. And so the Dream 100 goes back to Chet. Got to give credit where credit is due. But the way I adapted that to the government market, I adapted it to our relationship triangles. And you guys have seen that already. Let me pull it up here. So it goes back to this sheet here. So these are all the relationships that you will need in the government market. In the commercial market, it's not this complex. But in the government market, these are all the different interrelated relationships that you will need. And if you don't have a copy of this here, I'm going to post this here on our website. And if you go to our website, govassociation/download, govassociation/download is going to take you to this page here, and I'm going to put it right in this blank spot here. And you can come and download some of the other things that we have here too. But I'm going to put it right here, the relationship triangle. You can come and download that, because that is going to be one of the most important documents you ever receive in the government market. This relationship triangle here, because now you can understand how all the relationships interconnect with each other. So you are the small business or the contractor, you're the vendor in the middle here. And you're going to need relationship with these green circles. The end user, the contracting officer, and the small business advocates or the small business specialists. So the end user is going to be the agency. This is the program manager or the supervisor that's working in the agency. They have the need. They have a problem, they have a need. But they have limited contracting authority. Generally at the federal level, they can only buy up to $25,000. Outside of that, they must use the contracting office or the contracting officers. So the contracting officer is this green circle on the bottom left here. And sometimes they're GSA or DLA. But the contracting office or officer is this bottom here. They have authority to award a contract. And then you also must have relationship with the small business advocates or specialists. The SBA is part of the advocates here. If you are in the 8A program, you are assigned a BOS, a boss. Now, some of you think you're the boss, right? But when you're in the 8A program, they give you a boss. But it's a good kind of boss. It's not the kind of boss that will boss you around or tell you what to do, but it's a business opportunity specialist, and this person will engage you and help you to navigate the contracting process to some degree. Now, they have many companies to manage, and so they're not always going to be, you're not always going to be their favorite company to work with. So you have to appropriately engage them. Kind of use Chet Holmes' model. Engage them every 2 or 3 times a month. Report to your boss and say, hey, this is the project I'm working on. I'm bidding on this project. Can you help me write this letter? Or can you send this email to this contracting officer that I want to go after this sole source contract? That's part of how you engage them. So this is the small business specialist. Sometimes they're called the SADBU for different agency. Often they're the OSDBU, OSDBU. OSDBU here. And every federal agency is required to have a small business advocate. So they're required to have that. So when you're dealing with a federal agency, they always have someone to help you. Now, so are they helpful?
Yes.
Not all the time.
No?
Some of them are good at helping you. Some of them, it's just a job, and they could care less about small business. And I've met a few of those too. And
Experience in the city of Atlanta, they were very good.
yeah, most of them are good. I'm not saying, there's a few out there where it's just a job. They go in, they clock in, they don't care about small business. It's just, they're just doing their job. And if it's 4 o'clock, actually 3:45, they clocked out already. And they're just hanging around talking at the water cooler before it's time to leave. And so if you call, they're not going to answer the phone. But most of them, we work with them. Most of them are awesome. Most of them do have a heart, do care about small business, and that's why they work that job, because they do care about small businesses. So the orange circles are relationships that you need for the private sector. So you're going to need relationship with other small businesses, because you can't do everything. You're a small business. If you are a construction company, you specialize in concrete, you only have concrete equipment. You don't have other type of equipment. So you're going to get a contract that's going to need multiple type of skill set. So it's always good to know other businesses in your industry. And so you can team together, or other businesses that have different certifications that you don't have. So that's part of it. And then you're going to need large companies to work with, because they're going to be prime subcontracting work to you. And then finally, you're going to have to build a government department internal. These are professionals and experts with skills in your industries. So how do you find these people? What you want to do is, the way you find these people, I'm going to show you a few quick ways. The best way is usaspending.gov. And I do have a long video. If you go to YouTube, I'm going to cover a few minutes of this here, but Deanna, if you go to YouTube and you pull up this here, how to find large primes to do subcontracting work or something like that. How to find large primes to do subcontracting work. And it's going to be one of the first one that shows up. And if you click on this one here, it's going to show you different ways of how to find, multiple ways of how to find this here. But I'm going to show you a few ways. So the first is go to usaspending.gov and click on the advanced data search. Advanced data search up here on the top right. And then once you're here, I'm going to show you how to find large primes first, and then I'll show you how to find agencies in a second. So you come here, you want to check just 1 year, because you want to see how much contract was awarded for 1 year. And then you want to go to your industry. So for example, Diani, what's your NAICS code?
56141.
Okay, so 56. So first you have to check the 2-digit first. Check this little box here. And then the 6 digit is going to show up on the bottom down here. So 561 what? 411. 56141, that doesn't exist. Is it 541?
Yes. Administrative services.
It's 611, I think.
611.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's investigation. Yeah, it's 541611, I think.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
611.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's 541611. Yep. So you want to check your primary NAICS code, and now you can check more than that, but for our purpose, I'm going to check one. And then once I do that, I'm going to hit submit down here. And it's going to pull up every single contract that was awarded in 2017 fiscal year. And $53 billion was awarded in that one NAICS code. Now, did you know that? That's a lot. This is more than construction work. Construction is about $20 billion last, $22 billion last year. Administrative management, $53 billion. Because this is labor intensive, right? Because administrative management is about people. People doing office related work and program management and contract management and office administrative work. So all of that falls under this one NAICS code here. So the way you find the companies, the easiest way is to download this Excel sheet. Now, there's so many that it's going to take too long to pull up, so I'm not going to download it. But what you want to do is hit download, and then you want to generate a file, and it's going to take everything here, all 216,000 records. It's going to put it into an Excel sheet, and then you can sort it that way. You can sort it in alphabetical order based on the company names to see who has won the most contract. But for our purpose, because of time, that's going to take too long. So, but this is the list of companies right here. So JM Temporary Services, they won all these contracts here. And you can see that they won a whole bunch of contracts. And you can also see, you know, 09 Clean won some contracts. But when you do this here in the Excel sheet, you're actually able to see all of it. And you can take all the dollar amounts and add them together very quickly by just highlighting them to see how much contracts they won. Now I'm going to give you a quick example here. So these are veteran businesses, and so this is just a summary. Oh, here it is. So you can pull all the contract, and so you can see once you organize it in alphabetical order, you can see, okay, hey, this company won all these contracts, so you can highlight quickly all this here, and then it's going to tell you down here at the very bottom that they won a total of 32 contracts, $624,000. And you can sort it, and you know, if you know how to use Excel, you can actually sort it and manipulate it and search and do a little bit more right here. So you can see, okay, you know, iBox Global, they won $10 million. So you can say, okay, hey, this company is someone I want to engage. And in here, it will give you their DUNS number. It will give you their address and their, not their phone number, no, their phone number too, yeah, right here. So the Excel sheet will give you their DUNS number here and their phone number. It doesn't give you their email though. But if you want to find their email, I'm going to take their DUNS number. How many digits should your DUNS number be? 9, right? And so you want to go to this second website. It's called dsbs.sba.gov. dsbs.sba.gov. David Sam Boy Sam .samboyapple.gov. dsbs.sba.gov. And on this site, you can come and find the small companies to see, to get their contact information. So once you come here, just come down here to the middle section, where it says DUNS number. You want to paste their DUNS number here, but because this is only 8 digits, I need to add a 0 in front, because Excel automatically removes a 0. Because when they export into Excel, it removes the 0. So it has to be 9 digits. If it's not 9 digits, that means the 0 is missing. If it's only 7 digits, that means there's 2 zeros missing. Some DUNS number starts with 0. So in this situation, I put the DUNS number in here. I'm going to come down here where it says edit the columns to be displayed. You want to click on this here, and you want to make sure that you come in here and add their DUNS number. If you want their phone number, add their phone number, add their website, and add their email. Where's the email? Oh, it's down here. No. Email.
You're doing too fast for me.
Excuse me?
You're doing too fast for me.
Yeah, go back to when you got to this page.
Email there.
Okay, so I'll show you. And so when you finish with this here, you want to make sure you hit save here. So let me show you from the screen here. So you come from the beginning, you scroll down to the middle, and the middle is right here, and you want to put the DUNS number in searching for a specific profile. You want to put the DUNS number here. Then you want to scroll down to search results display option and click on edit the columns to be displayed. Because you want to make sure that the columns, the Excel column, that when you export it, it has the email, has the phone number, has the website, DUNS number, all of that stuff here. And if you can even add it when they start their business. And so once you hit that, you hit save, and then you see the email here, you see the website, you see the phone number, so you're good now. Then you want to scroll down here, and you don't want it in table format, you want it in Excel format, spreadsheet, right? So click on this here and make sure it's Excel format here, and then hit search. This session is recorded on video, so if you didn't catch anything, go watch the video and you'll be able to see this again. And if you want to follow it on your own time, you can do that. So click on search using details, using these criteria, and it's going to export it into Excel. You see the Excel pop up here? So now it showed me their DUNS number, their phone number, their email.
So you're giving something very valuable, a contact name.
Yes, a name as well.
Even if the person is not there, then you say, oh, she's no longer there. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Why is it gonna blah, blah, blah. Wow.
Exactly, yes. So this is a very powerful tool here. And then now you have everything you need. So now you validated that this company, they are for my example here, this is a service disabled vet company. And I was using the service disabled vet criteria here. And so now I can say, if I'm looking for a teaming partner who's service disabled vet, I can reach out to this company. I know that they're winning contracts. They're going to look to partner with me because I'm a women-owned or I'm an 8A company. Maybe they're not. And so there's reason why you guys want to work together. And part of it is you can be doing some subcontracting work for them. So this is how you find the small businesses I just showed you here. But to find large companies, you would do the same thing. Large company won't be on this list here. Large company, you will use this other website called sba.gov/subnet. I believe that's the link. No, that's not it. It's a. Okay. Yeah, it is. Now let me go to, I'm going back to here. Yeah, so the link is kind of an odd link. Oh, you know what? They changed it now. They want you to log in now. Okay, it's here. Yeah. They changed the way how it's done now. Okay, wow, it's a little bit different now. Yeah, so click on this button up here instead of down here. I agree, because that makes you force you to register. Click on here, and it's going to take you to this page over here. And you want to look at Business Directory. Oh, wow, they're doing some new stuff here. Awesome, it's about time. Yeah. So it pulls up different things here. A place where small business finds subcontract opportunities, right? So you as a small business, this is what you want to use. So let's go with Georgia here. So these are the large companies that has office in Georgia. I like what they're doing here. So this is good. This is good. I like it. So you can come here and you want to look through here. So here's a project that's coming up in January. Small business certified woman, solicitation number, I think. PTSI management, commercial institution building construction, Denise phone number, and so forth, right? So she's actually with the agency, with the FAA, or that might be the contracting office. Yeah, point of contact. So, oh, good. So they're cleaning up a lot of their old stuff, because in the past there was so much stuff in here that wasn't usable. So now this is actually more usable.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Can you go back to Mr. Denise?
The what?
Oh, no, you right there. I don't know.
You can see in the phone.
Thank you.
Yeah. So hopefully that this site continues to improve over time, because in the past it wasn't super friendly. Let's go after Business Directory. That was under contracting, so let's do Business Directory. Let's see if we can find more. And so these are companies in Georgia. Point of contact type, small business point of contact. So Yolanda Greer, professional cleaning services, Nexus Technology. So these company appears to be, they don't have any active projects, but they're looking to partner or to subcontract work out. And sometimes they may be a small business looking for a prime also, but let's look at this one company, see what they're about.
Where could we see the size of their company?
The size of their company?
Or is it prime or subcontract? How we put that?
Sometimes it's harder, to answer that question. It's a little bit more detailed. And the easiest way is to take their DUNS number, and go to USA Spending and paste it and search it and see how much contracts they want. If they want a little bit of contract, that means they're probably a small business. If they want like millions and millions and hundreds of millions, that means they're a large company. See, like this company, they won no contracts. So, yeah, so they're a small company, chances are. Okay, so for everybody else, go watch this video here. And go watch how to find large primes to do subcontracting work for on YouTube. And it's going to show you other ways that I didn't get a chance to show you tonight. And I actually have a long one too. So, but this is a 16-minute video. And then watch today's training session also. So today's training session is going to be recorded on Gov Training Vault, so you can watch it there as well. All right, so that's all the time we have, and I appreciate everybody being here tonight. I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. I won't be able to see you during Thanksgiving, but take care of your family, enjoy your time there, and then I will see you guys next Tuesday. And then we are having a holiday party in December. Who's coming to the holiday party? Awesome. It's potluck, so we're going to provide the turkey and ham, and so all the sides, and if you want to bring other meats, feel free to bring other meats, and we're going to have it right here in this facility. Wear your ugly sweater. Are we doing an ugly sweater contest this year?
I think we should.
Yeah. Yeah, wear your ugly sweater.
You said when?
It is,
What day is that?
it is December 12th, Myra? Is it December 12th?
Hold on, I can tell you. It is
At what time?
Yes.
6 o'clock.
It's December 12th, 6 o'clock. Same, just like Tuesday nights here. Yeah, so we'll be here at 6 o'clock. Bring some food. We're going to provide drinks and turkey and ham. And then if you want other meats or other sides and greens, and some of you I saw some of you raise your hands, so you better bring something good on Tuesday night so we can all chow down with you. It's going to be awesome. All right, well, I appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next week.